Well, the Major League Baseball season has just ended, but it is still time to play ball with college soccer. Hello, and welcome to Penn State Sports Night. I'm your host, Ashley Mascaro, alongside Anna Licastro and Logan Bourandas. We are here to update you on the 2022 Penn State men and women's soccer season and look ahead to the women's NCAA Tournament. The women's team has been on a roll with an overall record of 12-8-1 compared to a 6-6-4 men's team who's been struggling a lot this season. So, what are your thoughts on this stranded men's soccer team?
Well, this men's team lost a lot of talent from a year ago, and they started out this season so great, but once the conference play hit for the Nittany Lions, they just struggled. They had a few ranked wins to open up the season, playing Akron, playing West Virginia, getting them on the right track, but they did struggle in conference play where they had dominated in years past, and aside from Peter Mangione, who picked up right where he left off, winning Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten, and Liam Butts refining his form from 2019, there wasn't a lot of offense aside from that, and it really halted this Penn State offense and the Nittany Lions team, especially in the later part of the season. And even Chris Shakes got off to a hot start in non-conference play. Then he missed a game against Michigan State, and when he came back, he wasn't the same as well. The Nittany Lions had made the last two Big Ten championships playing Indiana and winning one of them, and this time played Indiana, didn't have that same success, this time in the first round.
Well, Logan, I typically don't follow Penn State men's soccer quite as closely as you do, but even from more of an outsider perspective, that season was mid at best. Definitely disappointing compared to last year. Their overall record of 6-6-4 and their conference record of 3-2-3 were overall just unimpressive, and I think they should have been able to do a lot more. When you're only playing 8 conference games, 3 of those games can't end in ties. You have to take advantage of every opportunity to have to put those away, otherwise you're just simply not going to have enough points.
Yeah, I mean, this men's team was definitely on the struggle bus this year, so hopefully next year will be a lot better for them. However, the women's team, they were on a roll this year. What are your thoughts on this season for the women?
So overall, I think that Penn State women's soccer had a good season. They ended 13-4-3 with their overall record, and they did have some rough patches where I think they definitely could have performed better, especially in their last 2 regular season games against Nebraska and Iowa. However, when it came time for the Big Ten tournament, they showed up to play. First game against Wisconsin, that one was definitely more of a predictable win. It was a repeat opponent, and they'd already shut them out 3-0 during regular season play. So the fact that they took that game was not surprising, although the score was a lot closer, with the only goal of the night being from Allie Schlegel. Second game against Northwestern, that one I thought was definitely going to be a little more iffy. Northwestern was the 2nd seed in the tournament, and Penn State hadn't faced them during the regular season, so there was no expectation as to how that game was going to go. But ultimately, I think that actually helped, since Kate Wesner and Peyton Linehan both showed out, scoring early first-half goals to get the lead, and then Catherine Asman made 9 saves to keep the lead and keep it a shutout. The real test, obviously, was the 3rd game against Michigan State, top seed in the tournament. Penn State had already lost 1-2 to them during regular season play, and Michigan State had not lost a conference game yet all season. Although clearly that did not faze the Nittany Lions, who took their opportunity to have the comeback of a lifetime. Definitely not an easy game. First half was rough. Penn State had an own goal and then missed a penalty kick. But despite all that going down, they still managed to have a super back and forth game and ended up with a 3-2 victory. And I think that being able to come back from that series of unfortunate events that occurred in that first half says a lot about that team and their character. They're really strong, they're really resilient, and when they want something done, they're going to work hard and get it done.
Yeah, I think you summed it up really well, just kind of that tournament run they went on. That Penn State team had already lost to Michigan State a while back, and they ended up beating them despite being down within the first 5 minutes of the contest. But everyone in the Big Ten knew that this Penn State team was much better than that 6th seed showed. They really had a rough patch, kind of the midway point in conference play, but they were able to pick things right back up. There were a lot of holes for Penn State to fill in from last season, players like Sam Coffey, Carrie Abello moving on to the pro ranks. So Penelope Hocking doesn't get a lot of credit for the role she kind of filled in this season, coming over from USC, where she was the program's all-time leading goal scorer, coming in and going right alongside Allie Schlegel, Peyton Lanahan, some of the offensive players they have on that side. And that's been a really fun trio to watch play out throughout the season. And we saw how it benefited Allie Schlegel. She was the offensive player of the Big Ten tournament, had a few big plays in that Michigan State game where they eventually won the Big Ten championship. And players like Kate Wiesner, who you talked about earlier, played a big role on the defensive side. So this Penn State team, a really well-balanced bunch, and we saw Catherine Asman, the way she played in net, won Defensive Player of the tournament as well. So this team is in a really good spot come tournament play. They made a deep run to the Sweet 16 last year, so we'll see if they can make a similar run to that again.
Yeah, I mean, they had a really successful season overall, and I think so many people were impressed with them. So the NCAA Tournament rankings just came out today, and they are ranked number 2. How do you guys think this will be for them? How do you think they're going to do in the tournament?
Yeah, so obviously the bracket for that tournament just came out literally a few hours ago. Penn State's going to be playing the Quinnipiac Bobcats in the first round. I think that just in general, if they can carry over the momentum that they got from that Big Ten tournament into the NCAA tournament, they should be able to do really well. That being said, the Bobcats are a good team. They went 9-1 in their conference, and they score a lot of goals consistently. So Penn State's going to need to maintain a strong defense if they want to keep them out of the net.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Penn State was able to get a 2 seed in this tournament. When that Michigan State upset loss happened at Jeffrey Field, Penn State was already ranked number 6 in the country, so they're ranked really highly at certain points in the season, and despite being number 6 in that Big Ten tournament, they proved in that conference tournament that they should be ranked among the best of the best, and I think that number 2 ranking really emphasizes that, and it should be really fun to see some of these first couple games in the tournament played at Jeffrey Field. I think they match up really well against Quinnipiac, and I think they can go on a very similar run to last year, where they eventually beat Hocking's USC team along the way before losing to South Carolina. So it should be a fun run for this women's team in the tournament. Upsetting the men's team didn't make a run back the way they made it last year, but the women's team's played really well, and it should be a fun run to watch.
I think so too. I mean, I'm really excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to see how these women play, and I think everyone thinks they're going to do a really good job. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Penn State Soccer Update. We'll keep you posted as the women play in the NCAA Tournament and when the men's bracket comes out next week, because 7 days without soccer can make 1 week. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. For Anna Licastro and Logan Bourandas, I'm Ashley Mascaro. Have a wonderful night.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.